Yeah. Coach Stella, episode 8.
Episode 8, Brody.
How you feeling?
I'm feeling great, bro. I'm still excited from that Ellie House game of the week from Friday.
Man, it was
getting
lit.
closer to playoff season.
Lit.
Yes,
super
bro.
Super lit, man.
I'm geeked up. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Closer to playoff season. The playoff seedings mean more. Games mean more now than regular season.
Right.
It's go time.
Right.
Showtime, go
like
time,
we said,
baby.
You know what I'm saying? It seems like, further you go down, more of the fair weather football followers kind of start thinning out.
Yep.
And then all the diehards coming out. And you can almost hear the difference in the octave in the stadium. So
it's a different energy and different juice the closer you get to week 11, baby.
For sure, man. So without no further ado, let's get right into our first segment, which is our Stellascope recap.
Here we go, baby.
Matchups for some of the games that you told us to keep an eye out this week.
For sure.
So let's get into it. Who we had this week, Coach?
We had 3 games on the recap. All right, the first one we talked about St. Ed's and Iggy. All right, rivalry game. Throw the records out the window. Ed's got it done 28-6. I said in week 1, Iggy was gonna be my upset special all year. I'm sorry. Yeah.
They caught the bouquet again.
Yeah. But anyways, though, Eds. Shout out to Eds, man. Quarterback Thomas Siani been balling out. 11-18, 205, 3 touchdowns. He been going crazy the last few weeks. Bradley Eaton, and we talked about Bradley a couple weeks ago on the Stella Stock Report. He goes 17 for 157 in the touchdown. Also 42 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns. 199 total, 3 touchdowns. He balling. And Zach Hackelman. I was talking to Daniel and Z on my way up to the game Friday. I told him this kid pretty good. Got his first offer on Friday from Kent State. He had 4 for 85 in a touchdown. The defense pretty much stopped Iggy's run game. Once they stopped the run game, they made him one-dimensional. That was pretty much the game. Last week, though, when we was talking about Eds, I said that you could tell they missed Brandon White.
Right.
This week, they got back to that formula I talked about with Eds. They rushed for 223 and passed for 205. That's the St. Ed's formula. If they got a balanced attack, that's more so like them. The last few weeks, Thomas Siani, even though he playing great, if he throwing for 250, 300, 350 yards, he's playing lights out. It's nothing against him, but that's not the St. Ed's formula. You could tell they missed that run game, so they got the balanced attack with a dominate defense. That's what got them to back-to-back state championships. Also, having a big, huge offensive line they had the last few years. Not as good or as big as they were in the past, but they're still a top-tier offensive line. You get back to playing balanced ball, defense stop, and be dominant, you win 28-6. So, Ed's got it done, 28-6 over Iggy. Shout out to Iggy, man. They got to have the hardest schedule in the state, but at this point, nobody cares. You got to get dubs. Right. You know what I mean? So, Ed's got it done. Second game, Perry at Fitch. We talked about Fitch. We wanted to see how Fitch bounced back after taking that whooping from Ursuline, and they bounced back. I don't know if you've seen it. They came with a new quarterback. Shout out to Colin Callinger. Sophomore, great debut. 19-22, 203, 2 touchdowns. He kind of opened the offense up. Brady Evans, 8 for 88. They had another receiver, had a big-time touchdown catch. And then you still got Junior Higgs that run 21 times, 81 yards. That's that balance we talked about. You know what I mean? We seen him up close last week. We kind of knew something was going to happen with that Fitch offense, just the way it looked. And again, shout out to the kid, sophomore. He stepped in. Your first game as a starter, you go 19-22, 203, 2 touchdowns. As a sophomore, your confidence is high. You feeling comfortable about the game plan the coaches gave you, and he's making plays. He's unlocking the offense. We know how good a slot Brady Evans is. We haven't talked about Brady until now. Week 7 going into week 8. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
They got Braden Bryan, a sophomore kid over there, probably a 4-4. We don't really talk about as much. So you could tell a new quarterback kind of opened up the system, allows Little Tate to go play cornerback full time, which I'm sure he can lock in there more and make more plays there and be a better player there. So you could tell that adjustment kind of took him over the edge. Defense is playing Perry. Perry is a wing T. Took him a little bit of time to get adjusted to it. But they went and made some good adjustments at halftime. Shout out to Coach TJ Parker and his staff made some adjustments. Shout out to Coach Parker for making a tough decision to go with a new quarterback. That's always tough. I don't care what level you are. You never want to demote a kid, you know what I mean? Because, you care about the kids. But sometimes you got to make tough decisions. So it's clearly he made the right decision. Shout out to that kid for stepping in, playing big time. Anthony Ruggles, 2 field goals. He got back to himself, a 50-yarder, 35-yarder, and Fitch win 20-15. Big game this week at Erie McDowell. Erie McDowell can play. Erie McDowell upset Villa St. Joe's a couple weeks ago. Okay. I don't think Bo Jackson played, but it don't matter. St. Joe's is still loaded. So if they beat St. Joe's 38-35, they could play. So that's what Fitch is going this week at Erie McDowell. So shout out to Fitch for, bouncing back. Shout out to the coaching staff and the kids for showing that grit, showing that grind, and bouncing back, getting the win. And then our last game we talked about was Harding at Boardman. Old school SBC game. Mm-hmm. I said it last week. What team going to take care of the ball and not get a lot of penalties? That was Harding. Luckily, they was able to overcome it. Another key I said was what coaching staff would be able to make the best halftime adjustments. Boardman was up 14-7. They didn't score in the second half. That let me know Harding's coaching staff went in the locker room, made the proper adjustments. The defense held up, and then pretty much it was kind of the Chaz Coleman show. Shout out to Aries Coleman Bay, 33-yard touchdown run. It was good to see Aries get the ball a little bit. Aries can make plays.
Right.
As a returner, and if you put the ball in his hand, he's quick, he's fast, he can make some plays for you. We talked about that last week. 2 weeks ago after the Ursuline game. Harding need a little bit more playmakers. So it was good to see them get the ball to Aries Coleman Bay. Chaz had a big-time game, 7-8, 84 yards passing, ran it 24 times, 90 yards, 2 touchdowns. And between that, the coaches making adjustments, the defense stepping up, they get the win 19-14. We knew it was going to be an old-school SBC type of game. Only thing that was missing was the rain, bro. That's the only thing that was missing was the rain.
Clear.
A shout-out to Warren Harding, 5-2 right now. Played Mooney this week. They the favorite in that game. Got a chance to be 6-2 going into the last 2 weeks playing Massillon and Fitch. So hopefully they can close the deal, do what they're supposed to do next week against Mooney. And shout out to Boardman. Coach Dota got Boardman playing some good ball. They're a tough team to play. They also run a lot of wing tee and stuff like that. That's hard to get ready for, get adjustment, and be ready to play because your scout team can't simulate that. They're not going to run it at the same speed. They're not going to run it at the same precision and execution as a team that runs it all the time. Right. So I'm sure that caught Harding off guard earlier, just kind of like Fitch playing against Perry. Both teams made adjustments. Their defense listened to the coaches, the game plan, made adjustments, and they went and locked it down. So shout out to them teams. Eds over Iggy, Fitch over Perry, Harding over Boardman. That was a Stellascope recap, big dog.
Yeah, so Iggy caught the bouquet again. They caught the bouquet again. It's all good. It's a tough one.
And I know what type of program and tradition they got. I just wonder where them kids' psyche at right now. Because it's one thing to lose a lot of games. It's another thing when the next week is big-time program after big-time program. You don't get a chance to breathe. You know what I mean? And then also on top of that, you lose an injury. You losing your starting quarterback and key pieces to your team. I know it's tough right now, but shout out to Coach Franzinger. They got a guy that's alum of St. Ignatius. He know what it's supposed to feel like, look like. Right. And then I know he'll get them back on track eventually, but that's the Stellascope recap, baby.
Yeah, Fitch found some money. A new quarterback. They, they found a silver lining in that loss to Ursuline. Found some new money, like you said, unlocked that offense.
Yes.
That was kind of. It was kind of stagnant after that during that Ursuline game, and then shout out to Harding and the Warren G. Harding Colemans.
Yeah. Pretty much the Colemans was out there making
the
plays.
Warren G. Harding Colemans, Chaz, Aris, you know what I'm saying? BJ, them guys, they got a lot of family, got a lot of tradition. So it's exciting to see that family enjoy a good year and the ball club enjoy a good year. So shout out to Harding, shout out to Aris and Chaz doing their thing, getting the dub.
LB checking in, man. Keep it locked in between the lines with Coach Stella. You feel me? You did.